Google Translate.
Hello, and good morning to The Rundown. This week with Matt and Tyrese, going over anything anime, TV, and movie related. Already.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna start off like this. It took you over this last from the viewers over this last weekend. Matthew came out of the swamp to
Oh boy.
to come to Wisconsin to hang out with me and some friends. And he took him like 5 months, but he finally watched Bad Boys 4. And I never asked you this whole week, but I wanted to know. We never talked about it, so I wanted to know what you thought of that movie because the more I watch it, the better. Not the better. It's kind of the same. All right, tell me, how did you? Or what did you rate that movie out of all the Bad Boys?
Oh, out of all of this?
Yes.
Uh, that's a rough one. I would say a tie for second place.
Ooh, tie
I
for
don't think
second.
that was the best Bad Boys. There's a lot of things that go into it story-wise and comedy-wise. The adjustment to Martin Lawrence being the fat ass and just sitting under the looking for that Kool-Aid. Like, it was funny, but I just not used to like that Martin Lawrence. He's the one that's like disgruntledly married, like, always got, stuff like that.
Yeah. I I think
That
of
transition,
Martin. You don't know no good. That's what I think every time. You don't know no
that
good.
that transition from that style of Martin Lawrence to this took an adjustment. It was still funny. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both what, 50s now, 60s.
Yeah.
Martin might be pushing 60s. He's definitely in his 50s. I would say so.
Yeah, I would say the both probably at least
Yeah,
55, at least 50, 55.
right. So I mean, granted, things are going to change as the years go on. And what the first Bad Boys came out in the 90s or early 2000s
When they were little babies.
right? Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
So
this suit.
that transition wasn't a huge issue for me. However, I still think Bad Boys 2 and Bad Boys 1, those two kind of take the cake
That's
as
what I was
far
gonna
as
say.
comedy and the whole shtick of them with the captain there too. Because the captain, he was a big part of that movie, even though he didn't get a lot of screen time. His interactions between those two were
Woosah.
yeah, it was top notch. Everybody, when everyone gets pissed off, what did they say? At least our age,
Woosah. Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
iconic.
2-1-3. No, 2-1-4-3. That's my
That's
that's
what
my
I
list.
would agree with that. I would agree with that.
I loved it. I think I loved the Bad Boys 4 better the first time. Second time was still good, but I think it was better the first time.
Yeah,
Because then you get like the next time you know what's gonna happen. So then it's like you look for the major moments, but as a whole, as a movie, it's like it's okay. I can watch Bad Boys 2 over and over again and just be more intrigued with every bit of the movie, everything. Because it was like car chase to going to the Jamaicans trap house to going to the casino to just doing it, just going everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, just doing everything back and back. Dude, they should have brought at least in the third or fourth one. They should have brought some sort of Jamaican.
Oh, absolutely.
House. That was such a legendary scene in there. Gosh, but that's why. And the third one was good as well, but I it wasn't as funny. It was more plot driven, which is good. But as a Bad Boys franchise, if you don't have also the good, not the forced Marvel humor, but the good humor in there, it turns into more of like James Bond or like Mission Impossible type movie where it's just car chases, gunfights, and everything with the plot. So it was more plot driven, which is why, as I put it, as the last one, just because it didn't have plot and great humor. It had plot and a lot of forced humor.
That's fair.
Didn't feel natural. which is one of my biggest gripes with Marvel movies, new Marvel movie, old movies. Um, there's a lot that was good, and then I'm sitting in the theater, and all of a sudden, Paul Rudd makes a joke, and I'm like in my mind, I'm like, that's kind of funny, but I'm also like, I mean, this is like 5 minutes before Scarlett Johansson dies, but I mean, sure, if you need it, whatever. I love Paul Rudd though, so. But yeah, I I think they're taking away the Jamaican scene and putting Reggie having a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was very clever. I think that was very clever.
Yeah.
To have a moment. Oh man. To have him
And the circle around to it back at the end of the movie too.
Yeah.
Let him cook the chickens. Kill 15 people.
Give
Like
me
it
Reggie.
had its funny moments. Like
that was and that was just a moment too. I'm like that was just a smart move to have a Reggie moment. Like that's just that was one of the biggest moments in the people our age. People our age and older. People that love, younger, they're like, but we're like,
right.
Yeah. Like, yes, Reggie. Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. And he got all serious. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, it was also fun and cool to see the transition because I think it was one where he's like, who the fuck knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who Reggie?
Reggie. Uh-huh.
You ever been with the man? Do you want to?
Do you want to?
So, Brett, you got it coming. Just marks like an entire mercenary group.
Stinking salute at the end.
Salute at the end. Yep.
Great.
That was great.
Well, I'm glad I got your opinion because I think that I knew that we were going to say 2-1-4-3. But I'm going to say I switch topics now. I didn't drop, but I definitely left. I'm sidelining. Is the only Fate I haven't seen was Babylonia, and I think this is number one carried by animation. Demon Slayer second, but the story is so boring. It is so boring, and the animation and the fighting is all great. It's great. Love its sound effects. It's great. But the I don't understand what's going on. Like, but every episode they recruit some god. It's I won't say rush because I don't think it's based off the game and I don't think there's that much to it. But like every single episode there's a new like person that was an enemy that's now a friend. He's just like the Fate Naruto, except they actually don't die in the end or whatever. They join sides. Naruto was like, I don't want to fight. Let's talk. This is kind of like the same thing because he's a weakling. He's just a master with no magic, pretty much. So, in every episode, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Well, I guess you have a harem of heroes.
They got some Babylon. Yeah, that story archetype. They beat that the whole plot line, the whole premise of that story. They beat that with a dead horse to the point. Like, yeah, they beat it so hard it was just a stand. Like they were just here's a little spot we can put this here, and it just
it should have been a actual like Holy Grail war like the other ones.
Right. That was the biggest problem with that series.
If you want to make it the same time period, back like a Holy Grail that's from the back then, with Gilgamesh and everything, which Gilgamesh is weird watching him. It's like I started to grow up on cocky Gilgamesh, looking down upon Gilgamesh, and I'm watching Babylonian, and I'm like very loose Gilgamesh, and it's really weird. It's like it's the same voice actor, but it's like I like it when you're like mongrel, mongrel, mongrel. This is like honor, honor. You gotta have honor. This is childish of you. Don't do this. Honor, honor. Joke, joke. Two jokes. Honor. It's like you
Yeah,
just
I
you just,
think they
you
were
just
trying to
butchered
portray the.
his whole. Is he was he supposed to portray him differently back then? Like
I
something
think it
happened to the
was.
point where he turns into mongrel, mongrel.
I think that's what it was. I think it was a very piss poor attempt at trying to show some form of character progression.
Yeah.
To start where he was this way, he believed in this, and then throughout the years of the Holy Grail Wars, he kind of developed this cynical, um, sinister like mentality of just like I'm over it, screw honor, all of you. Like,
No, I don't like
I think
that.
that's
There
I think
there
that's what they
needs to
were
be
trying to do.
they could do that as long as if it's a Gilgamesh story. It's not a Gilgamesh story, so they're not going to
Right.
flesh that out. So it's just going to be weird the whole 2 seasons. I don't know
Yep.
what the little 50-minute movie that just came out last year is about, but Gilgamesh is on the cover. I don't really know what that one is about, but it's like just give me what's it called, Apocrypha. That's the last one. That's the newer. That's the last one where it was Holy Grail War. It was like 7v7, and I loved it. That one was genuine. It was supposed to be just fighting, which is which is had it's not as good as the Fate and Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works and all that, because there was more like not just fighting, but like strategic planning, strategic ways of doing things, like let them fight so we can see what they do. This one was more like, you know, just everyone jumps off the bus, lands, and it's battle royale, which is great. Like it's good. It was
Right.
supposed to be like that, and I loved it. And then there's team ups and everything. I love that, but
They're really grasping at straws with that series because they did so good. They set the standard for the new gen animes, and they want them. They're pulling a Disney. They're trying to milk it for as much as they possibly can before they completely ruin it. And honestly, I think I was talking to you about this a long time ago. I really think they should go back before the Holy Grail was the Holy Grail and call it like Fate the Beginning and start like
the first
prior
grant.
to no, like the Holy Grail being Christ's cup prior to Christ drinking from that cup, the events leading up to that cup, and then the separate factions wanting to get their hands on it, and
But
why, and
the
start the whole, clockwork.
the only problem with that is who's going to be strong, because that's the beginning of time, pretty much. There's not enough
I
like
mean,
people.
Gilgamesh was before Christ.
So that, but then there's that.
Babylon was
I
before
guess.
Christ. That's the thing. Holy Grail War can take place in any point of time, at any point of time. So
There's gonna be a Nebuchadnezzar servant.
that's what I'm saying. Like now, that's not okay. That all right. That's not what I meant. But all right.
That's good. I like that. All right, continue, sir.
But what I'm saying is because of the Holy Grail War being able to take place at any point in time, because in canon it has taken place prior to Christ being on Earth. That would be the ultimate like Grail War, is when Christ first drinks from the Grail, and then, you know what I mean? Like
Almost,
interweave all of that, all these factions trying to go after the Grail before it becomes the
but
Holy Grail War.
I'm pretty sure.
It would be an
I'm pretty
interesting
sure,
spin on the storyline,
like
but it'd be an all-out war.
Fate, Stay Night or whatever. I'm pretty sure they said that was like the fifth Holy Great War.
Or
I'm pretty sure it was like the fifth.
yes, something
So
like
like
that.
it. I don't know if there was there. I mean, there could have been one way back then, and then there's been a very large like gap in between before the next one. But like five, and they're set in modern time. Then I mean,
Right.
and every like 100 something years. So I mean, that would be cool. I guess
That's
your
what I'm
point
saying.
still
Like if
stands.
that time
And
frame
then
lands in between when the Grail is supposed to be active, well, we don't want to wait for the Grail to be active. He's going to be touching the Grail here in about 15 minutes. Let's just go pop that as soon as he leaves the group. And then that's when like a whole war it breaks out to try to claim the Grail before the Grail becomes the object. That would
Okay.
be
Okay.
infinitely better than Babylonia or all that bull crap.
Yeah.
I would like to see them do that because honestly, they've beaten a dead horse over this for a hot minute now. They need to just send off season. Here you go. This is how it started. Call it a day and
Yeah.
go on to your next project. They're at a point where they're ruining a great, an all-time great. I would even argue, but they're ruining
Yeah. And I don't
an
like.
all-time
Well,
great for what it is. It's not like the greatest anime like story, blah 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 blah. But for what it is, for what Fate is, it's an all-time great.
yeah. Yeah. Um. They could also where to go. They could also do what they're doing. Maybe space them out. Maybe a couple years from now. But like they're they're also
Hell, they even
they're making
introduced time travel.
they're making
Like,
like 30-minute. I guess they're making like 30-minute little movies too. Fate has been doing that as well. So like Fate Grand
yeah,
Order, Moonlight Lost Room. That's a 30-minute little special. Same with Fate Grand Order First Order. That's a stupid name. Fate Grand Order First Order is a movie. If they could do that in like a couple of years, but do something like some sci-fi crap. Do it. Just give me one that's like really far, really like way in the future.
yeah.
Way in
I
the
mean,
future.
because like I
That'd be
said,
kind
they're
of
at
cool
a
because then
point.
there's a lot more people. You can have like Hitler on the thing. I don't know.
Jesus.
You could do
Um,
you could do anybody.
so they're at a point where berserk because he went berserk, and in
Yeah.
mass genocide. But hey,
Yeah. It's whatever, man.
his superpower is a gas chamber. All right.
Woo!
Yeah.
I like it. He could.
Um.
Never mind.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, we're delving deep into the
Yeah,
dark jokes there. What's up?
I'm gonna let that one go.
Um.
Oh, Fate Last
Like,
Encore. I forgot what that one.
again, I just
I like that one.
realistically where they're at, I don't see them being able to do anything other than that. Either do the straight from the beginning, or call it the beginning, or the call it the creation. Something like that's all that needs to that either that or how after I think it was it Stay Night with what's his name, the orange haired kid.
Emiya?
Yeah, and then his ring took what is her name, the one
Red,
with the red
black,
the red
black hair. Oh, red hair? What?
yeah, she had the two pigtails. I think that was Stay
It
Night.
was black hair.
Black
It's
hair, yeah, but
Ren.
she had the two pigtails.
Ren.
It is Rin. Okay.
Yeah.
They were at like a college or something, magic college or something like that.
Yeah.
That's where you start from there, because
I guess.
all the stuff that we've given on how Emiya becomes Archer and is
Yeah.
Archer.
There is still all
Like,
that left.
there's still a lot of questions and answers that a lot of people are wanting here about that in general.
Isn't there a Fate that's not that's with Rin? I swear there was one more. Like there was another. There's so many freaking Fates. I swear there was one Fate. I don't know if it's the same storyline, but it looks like it's set with Rin and the white haired girl. The little girl that I can't remember her name. It's such a stupid
The one
name.
that got thrown to the insect pile.
No,
That was those were Heaven's Feels movies.
the other one. The she was the daughter of the main guy that does he's a wizard killer hunter in the yeah,
Oh.
the little girl that's part of that. Her mom was the catalyst or whatever for I can't remember what it's called, but there is another Fate that has her and Rin the story after Stay Night. or unlimited blade works, whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
see, I don't care about all that. No, we
Yeah,
were
he might
all
be in there.
left
I don't
with
know. The
a
cover just had
cliffhanger.
those two.
I want to know the next parts of Emmy's story, because that to
Send
go from being
send
a
an email.
master in the Holy Grail War to being an all-powerful servant in the Holy Grail War. Hello, yeah, let's make a series about that journey there, okay? Because that's quite the glow up. That's quite the
Yeah,
that's
I
quite the
bet you.
power up. You
I
know,
bet you it's a video game because half of these are video games. I bet you if you could find
that
the
could be
video game, you could play it on PS2.
right. Yeah, crazy how the anime has better graphics than the video game, right?
Yeah, for real. Oh, I watched Bleach like 30 minutes ago.
Oh, the newest episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was fine. It was
that was
the one-on-one with Ishida or whatever. That was cool. That was cool.
yeah.
I like a little Naruto Sasuke like, hey, come on, man, you're my friend. I like oh Jesus. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh shit. I, I like those little battles and stuff like that. It was definitely cool.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know what's to come, but I do know that things are stacking up because Mr. Berserk Man. I can never pronounce his name. The one that faced the guy that can the most OP ability that he just was too cocky with. The one that can be like, hey, you can't breathe. What's his name? The freaking Kapachi.
No. Kenpachi. Yeah.
Kenpachi. Yeah, all them.
Yep.
So I know what's
That was Kenpachi.
I know. Yeah, I know. Can't believe I remember that. I know that things are about to go down. So that's
and
why
the fact that they're releasing part of Aizen to see if they can get Aizen to help out.
Yes,
That is a huge part of what's about to happen.
And then there's one other guy that's coming in, and so I want
another key point to that whole interaction too, of him letting Aizen out. You remember the part where he said about, I see you have 3 keys here, but there's a 4th in your chest. I said, yes, that was a condition of the council that in order to fully unseal you, you would have to kill me by ripping my heart out to get the final key. His heart is now fused with that final key. Pay attention to that.
So he has to die.
So he would have to die in order for Aizen to be fully unsealed.
Well, then he's dead. Aizen's gonna beat him up. He's gonna take him out. Or maybe he can get out, but like after the work is done, then he gets resealed. Or then he gets to go back. I don't know, man.
I ain't telling you anything.
Well, good.
So that
but the fight was cool. I mean, I want to see what his little subordinates are gonna do because they're way cooler than that little support cast that Ichigo's got with him. The only cool part was the girl going
stupid name.
Yeah, and then does the thing. That was the only cool part. The other guys were like, "Ooh, sand, little quicksand." I'm like, "Get these side characters out of here. I'm done with you."
Well, so that's the thing is they're tying in the characters who, up until now, were side characters, but they're trying to pull what Oda's going to end up pulling in the end. They're trying to pull the side characters that you kind of just like, okay, they exist. So now like, okay. He's actually very important. He's actually very, very OP and very important. He's literally holding
wapples. Up. Okay.
Right. They're tying in the very important side characters. Because up until then, what's his name? The new current Yamamoto that was talking to Aizen. Him, and then the guy, the Captain Ukitake. No one really thought much of them. All these people I've talked to are just like, yeah, I remember them. Okay. Or after having to give them a description, they're like, oh, okay. I remember them. Now it's starting to get to a point where it's like, oh, they weren't just sidebar. They weren't just, extras. They're like, oh, they're very important. Pay attention over the next couple episodes to who they bring in and who they start talking about, because they will become very, very, very crucial.
It's probably in the opening, because they do
Maybe,
show a lot in the opening, quick scenes
maybe,
of people that I'm like, oops, psychic.
maybe.
Okay, well, because I have that feeling in my loins, the uh that fight was more of like,
Something
all
is
right,
affirmed.
get it over with. I'm kind of done. I'm bored. Not bored. I'm done. Just get to the good stuff, or get to the more crucial things, because that fight is cool. But it's gonna end in a stalemate. I saw that coming,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the reason. If Ichigo were to have ended his life, that I would be like, oh. But as I know that it was gonna be a stalemate, I was like, all right, guys, just duke it out like on the
Uh-huh.
playground and get it over with. So
Another thing to bring up about that too, when he did the thing with what the yiri boobity boobity, the the hand that rose up to the Soul King, key point to remember, and key point to make sure you understand and know is as soon as that happened and that hand grabbed the Soul King, you whoa, turned around and said, why couldn't my eyes see that?
I remember that.
His eyes never saw that. So to the audience, pay attention. That right there, crucial. Very crucial.
Well, it had to be. What
Huh?
that guy just blew up
The
and
all-seeing
was like,
eye couldn't see that coming.
well,
Probably a very crucial thing to pay attention to.
I really well I would hope that our viewers aren't stupid, because there's no way they're gonna have all that backstory and all those moments, and then he goes, "Oh," and the whole thing goes up to the sky, only for Yubal to be like, oh, never mind, and just bot it away. So I
You
know,
thought.
yeah, JK, get down. So I
Nice
knew that
try.
I knew something was gonna happen.
Mhm.
Shoot. Uh, um, I will say this right now though, Ichigo, I know he's gonna have his moments, but right now he kind of sucks. At least
Yep.
I
So
know he's holding back. I know he's holding back. It's his
Ichigo's
homie.
not holding back. That's
Well, then he
that's the thing.
sucks.
It's not just that he sucks. Is he's so the whole part of the beginning of that fight, the last couple episodes, to just show how much stronger he's gotten after his training with his
Uh-huh.
Soul Reaper abilities and his Urankar, his Hollow, those abilities. How he's been able to like tap into those a lot more, a lot better, a lot stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're starting to see where okay, yeah, but guess what? You're a Quincy, and that's a Quincy King who can just say Jedi mind trick. You just yeah, good, nice try, but sit down. Is basically what that was supposed to be because he has not ever used his Quincy abilities until they were awakened when Luboho was about to stab him in the throat, which is
Yo,
why we started
Baka.
seeing that. And I was just like, oh, it's happening. When I called it
Uh-huh.
that day, when I was like, oh, it's happening. Now we're starting to see like, all right, it's like fully awakened now. He just doesn't know how to use it. So
I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite, but I this is the first time. This is one of the first animes where it's such a large ensemble of people, and I don't care about the main character. I may be different in the end, but right now, for many years of my life, don't care about Ichigo. Everyone else is cooler and seems to lose less. But he he needs 6 power ups to do anything, and at least now. And I get it. Luffy kind of does the same thing, but that's not 6 power ups. He has 6 different form transformations he does, but that's different. It doesn't make him stronger. It just makes him different. But so I guess I'm not a hypocrite. Screw all of you. But he needs like 6 power ups, and I'm like, just be strong. be strong, and then when you and Yosabaha have to fight it out, then you go Quincy, and then Quincy comes out. However, it comes out, whatever. But like, you just get dog walked, bro. This is Luffy
So
versus Kaido. You're just getting
the
dog
problem,
walked over and over again.
right, and again, you can't get down on that happening because of Luffy versus Kaido. The 60 some episodes where Luffy was just getting absolutely just pounded on. Anyways, the story,
Wait,
it would be
no.
such a bad story if just all of a sudden Ichigo comes, it just, oh yeah, by the way, so I was in this like mystical realm for like a good chunk of last season. And then it took me the rest of the season to basically drop down. Um, so I'm a god now. And then Yuupa just dies. Where's the, okay, no, that's not going to happen. So at some point, he has to have some form of Achilles heel before he figures out what that final weakness is before he
Stab him in the
defeats. Right.
Sawdust, straight to the eyes.
Right. Your eyes see everything, not after that shit. Okay.
Exactly. Salt. Yeah. Do they have salt? No. Oh yeah, that's the same unit. All right. Sorry.
That's you can't fault them too much for doing that because what kind of a story is that? Where's that would be the worst ending ever created in all of anime. And we're talking about one of the big three ending. This is the final arc.
JJK still got that beat right now. So yeah, if they did do that, JJK's ending is worse.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty trash. It leaves off with like 7 cliffhangers. It doesn't even end right. The author, what's his name, is redoing it. He's actually redoing the ending. This was like 3 weeks ago when the ending of JJK ended. He's redoing it because no one likes it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Ugh, it's so bad.
All right.
Gojo dies. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Okay. That's a stretch. He's not. Moving on. Anime news of anime coming up that came out this season. ReZero is now, I think, on their 4th episode. On their 4th episode of the new season. And I'm happy. I've been waiting for them to continue the story, and they have not disappointed. It's just ground running. Hit it. As soon as, like...
Really? Because
yes,
I'm getting a real... I forgot how much of a spice of life this anime is. I'm on episode, like...
There ain't no way you have watched... After episode 1 ends with... I'm convinced you're still rewatching it.
Yeah.
So, just wait. Because it slowly moves into... Okay, this is kind of dark and twisted, very sinister. This season picks up almost immediately right where it left off, but the sinister just deviates behind everything.
I'm watching the right thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, yeah.
Yeah. I'm watching, it's 14 episodes, right?
New season 3 is 4, season 2 has 25, season 1 has 14.
Well, it's technically 24. Because if you watch them, they're hour long.
Oh. Yes.
And I'm on episode 7, and it's nothing has.
Yeah, so you're still rewatching it. Just wait. Yeah,
I remember.
The world building is very slow, and then it just boom, full speed ahead.
I remember. It's very like spice of life. Like they're just relaxing. They've had Snow Festival. You know, they're just chilling right now. It's like,
oh yeah,
he's like, he hasn't died in like 3 episodes, and that's like 3 hours worth of work. So like,
just wait.
oh, I'm getting there. But I just remember I was like, I can just lean back and play some Wild Rift because it's like this is just
It,
chill out or relax. I
oh yeah, you're in for a treat.
I know. I need to watch the new episode of Daima, but that second episode was Doodoo Cheeks.
Oh, was it really?
It almost made me drop the entire thing. Yeah. Once because the first
Really?
episode's fine. The second episode they actually become small. And I was like, it's fine. But it definitely animation went down a little bit for that second episode and it just
That's sad.
became yeah, it's just, like I don't know. I'm gonna watch the
There,
next one. But it took me like 3 days to watch that episode because I had I watched like a third of it, didn't want to watch it anymore. Came back a different day, couldn't handle it, then came back again.
they've been milking Dragon Ball for years.
So I hope this
So
third
we'll see.
episode is definitely better because that made me so sad. I was like, oh okay, never mind. Dragon Ball sucks.
Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest is now on episode 17,
Oh
and
gosh.
that show still love it. It's heating up a bit. It's good, very good. Let's see here.
Yeah, buddy.
Don the Dog. Fourth episode. I can't. I can't.
I love it.
Freaking.
I love it.
Now that you don't have my powers, what are you gonna do, boy? Shitty attack.
Dude, the grip
Oh my
that
god.
man had.
Woo.
And he stretched that thing too. Oh, it was great. It reminded me of like Looney Tunes when they grab a piece of meat and then it like stretches out.
Stretches, yeah.
Yeah.
That was so messed up. Oh my goodness, that was all messed up.
Oh,
But
trust me,
it
it
was
was a lot
hilarious.
more.
And then the granny at the end, did you get your junk back? Yeah,
Yeah,
let me see it. No, and then chases him around the house.
Yeah, that's a
I
little.
was like, what is this show?
I think at least it's not the other way. Like they could have easily made him. They easily could have put like a stereotypical MC in there and been like, we're a little perv.
Yeah.
But
We don't have enough of those already.
they chose a kid that's not a perv, but also
Okay.
she's a little pedophilia there.
Yeah.
I love.
on.
I love it. The animation was. I
It
love
was-
that
it was good.
whole scene. That was great. It was great.
That whole episode was great. The animation wise, that whole episode was great.
Oh, they
When the
do that
crab was
show.
getting boiled, when the crab was chasing him through that whole episode was great.
They did that so well.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the episode, there's a giant crab.
Yeah, it's so goofy. It's so goofy, but it keeps everyone involved. Doesn't matter like your age, even though it's goofy. Everyone's like, while they're watching it, like it's so intriguing and like crazy. Well, with an actual plot that isn't stereotypical. It's not an anime trope, and that's why it's doing so successful.
It's also funny, and it appeals to a lot of the childish, teenage / young adults.
And they speak the lingo.
Humor.
They speak the lingo of younger generations too. They're yeah. And they said this is so that's chill AF, and I was like, and that's in the manga too.
Oh,
so I was like, this is definitely a young
author,
a young mangaka. Yeah.
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 Next
Love
one on the
it.
docket, we have Let This Grieving Soul Retire. They are 5 episodes in. It's a funny anime. It's more of a. It had some okay animation. The fight scenes weren't too bad. I actually, it's kind of a happy mix. It's got comedy. It's got a story. It's got it. As far as fantasy anime go, it's not bad. I don't dislike it. I don't think it's this amazing anime, but at the same time, I think it's, if you don't got much else to watch, it's worth. I would definitely put that in that like on the back burner for a lot of these other animes, but
back burner.
That's you, good sir. That is true.
Back.
That is you. And then
by the crack.
one thing
Way in the
that
back.
is confusing is I don't see the other anime that I was talking about that I actually really like, honestly, which is
Isn't
bothering me, which is making me think they took it down.
isn't Shangri-La out yet? I mean,
Shangri-La is out. That is correct. And it is really nice.
watch Freyrin.
That's picking
That
up
should be your
pretty
first
good.
priority.
I'm good. There
Freyrin
is
is number one for a reason. You need to watch it. Animation, delicioso. Animation is
Are they even?
great.
I could hardly get through the first couple episodes. They're like,
Keep going.
no,
Keep going. It is worth. Keep going. Hey, lady, kill yourself. Okay, watch it.
I'm trying to find it because I don't see it, and I think they took it off the simulcast list, because they aren't doing it any more dub episodes for it in the near future. I'll have to figure that one out for the next episode because I'll remember that because that was a good anime. But um, Shangri-La Frontier season 2, I believe, is 4 episodes in. They're starting off strong. They're keeping up with the dub at least. They just released the dub for the first episode, I believe. Um, I I really like that show. That show is it's a good, cool take on, like, it's got like a SAO aspect. It's a cool fantasy like take. It's not a true isekai, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, we're not focusing on the real world where they are in real life. It's more of a just, okay, in-game world lore. I personally
Haven't
think that,
finished the first season yet. I
why?
don't know.
It's
I,
funny.
I fell out
Watch
for
the
other
show.
things.
Um,
I'll get back to it. Stop yelling at me.
the strongest seafood is the weakest and fast or something like that. Where is it? Sarah Gensiki, it's kind of picking up kind of where that left off too. That nothing too much new is changing. The plot is starting to thicken up a tad, but I mean, that show is starting to worry me a bit. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I'm starting to think it's starting to turn harem-y.
What show?
Sarah Gensiki, Spear Chronicles. It's
On
starting to lead in that direction, and it's scaring me a tad. 'Cause I was like, the first season was good. It just, I don't know, man. He had his teacher. He then all of a sudden the spirit just relies on him, and then now she's tagging along, and then season 2 happens. I don't know if you've watched any of it yet, but then more people from Japan get brought in, and they knew each other in his past life, and it's just more and more. It's starting to worry me.
mm,
It's starting to scare me just a tad. It really is. But that's it for the new episodes. I can't find that other. There's so many new episodes coming out. I can't find that
all right.
show.
If anyone watched One Piece Love Letter, fan letter, sorry, it is a it is canon, by the way, if anyone didn't know that. It's not just some little silly take on a little girl. It's actually in Oda's like little side SPS novels. So it's real. Just a little forewarning. And there are many others that they could do. That'd be really cool if they did something about Zoro. Uh, but we need to talk about something, and probably might be the last thing. But
There's
we need to talk about. Took you a very long time. Almost thought you weren't going to do it, but you did. And that was Attack on Titan.
yes, I have completed Attack on
Finally.
Titan.
Now tell me about that magnificent show.
I mean, the build up to the ending with the rumbling and all that, like, it was good. I just don't think they gave that final fight scene a lot of justice. It was good. It wasn't bad. I just think it should have been more. It's hard because it's not a bad ending. It's just
What else could
I
they
still
do?
feel like I still feel like the I still feel like the when Levi took Zeke out of his Beast Titan, and when what was the commander's name before
Arwen, Arwen.
Arwen, yeah, when he gave his speech and then they all got just annihilated, and then you just
Mm-hmm.
see Levi just
My soldiers do
like,
not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelties of this world. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I still feel like that whole sequence of that whole arc, that was infinitely better than the end. I feel like I think it would have been better if they didn't do the hour and a half long part two, part three. I think it would have been done better if they just did
Done better.
a normal season. I think it would have. I think they could have done it better. If they did
How
it
could
that.
they? How could they have done it
It would have
better if it was
dramatized the ending so much. Dramatized.
how
So how it would have
in
made
it
it.
in an episode? What's the word? Episodic form,
Yes, I think it would have been. I think it would have been better.
but it's like a movie.
See, that's the thing. We're talking about one of the greatest new gens, perhaps the greatest new gen anime to come of this new era, this new age. And that's how they ended it. It's just no. I see. I had problems with it.
Oh, let
The ending wasn't bad. That's not the problem. It was just a delivery method, and the delivery itself just seemed very underwhelming. And then the fight itself, that it didn't last all that long
yeah,
because there
because
was a huge
he's
portion
not.
of just
He's
build
supposed to
up.
lose.
Well, we all knew that was going to happen. That was basically been premeditated.
Yeah, by
We
him.
all
He
knew that was
wanted
going
to
to happen.
lose.
Yeah, of course, it was
Well,
premeditated. Otherwise, if he didn't want to lose, he could have very easily taken all their powers away. He said so himself. It
I
was
didn't.
premeditated.
I did not want. All right, we need to end this soon. Did not want for them to fight for all this time. They've been fighting non-stop for so long that I'm personally very happy that the last fight scene with them was not carried out a long period of time because this is manga. Like they didn't rush it because it's in a movie. People
Right.
don't know they didn't rush it. This was how it's supposed to. They actually changed it from the manga ending. A lot of the very ending of the episode isn't in the manga. Him speaking to Erwin, Mikasa, all that stuff. He didn't. There. That's not in the manga. That's was added by permission from what's his name. Um, I like the fact that the one thing they didn't want to do was kill Eren, and they didn't have to do it for a long period of time. They could just get in there and get the thing over with as fast as possible. And them talking at the end, it was like Erwin didn't even forgive him. It was like they made it so it was like he explained why he did it, but Erwin still was angry and still was like upset. But it was still his friend, but he was still like, this is what you did to Mikasa, by the way. And this I can't forgive you for all that stuff. Like that's kind of what it was. It was like someone dying in kind of like in vain. Sure, the world's going to see them differently because the whatever they're called were able to take down the rumbling. That was the whole point. But
Right.
you kind of lost everything with the friends that you like. You sacrifice your friendships and what you reviewed. I don't know. It was the emotional parting, the part of the end makes up for the final like showdown to be
I also think a good part of what the reason I'm not like ecstatic about it, I should probably rewatch it in the sub because there's a
Why
few
didn't you
voice
watch it in sub?
actors.
What?
I watched it in dub because I accidentally
Mm.
pre-downloaded it in dub, and that was my mistake on accident. I didn't even get to choose the language I downloaded it in; it just downloaded automatically in dub.
The dub hasn't been good since season 2.
That
3.
could have a major
3.
role in it. I think I am gonna end up doing that eventually. It's just Arlen's his voice actor just so whiny.
Yeah.
Even his normal speech, it's just I can't just like, bro, you're about like
He's had one moment. No, he's had 2 moments in all of Attack on Titan dub where I give him props. The first one was when he was attached to Berthold and he was being burned alive.
Yeah.
Good voice acting there. He did very well for that one. Next one is the scream he gave when Aaron got eaten. Like when he goes into the mouth of the Titan, yanks him out, and then he has his hand out and that the big gust of air hits him in the face.
I'm just gonna rewatch Attack on Titan because I'm reliving these as you're talking about it.
Yeah, and he screams.
I forgot about that. I need to rewatch these because we watched the whole show again. Because contrary to what people may think after hearing what I've said about the endings, the show is so good. I will always rewatch that show at once every couple of years because of how good it is. And it's just such a well orchestrated masterpiece, I dare say, of a plot line, of a story. I would say it is. Outside of the,
it's my favorite anime of all time. So it has been for a long time.
It's just when it comes to storytelling and actually delivering on a story, Attack on Titan can't be beat. When it comes to the story itself, the plot layout, the plot setup, twist layouts, the twist setups.
Okay. The twists really help.
The whole, and the thing is I think I know what he's thinking right now, is the story itself is not complicated. It really isn't. They follow
season 4, yes. When they get to the whole royal blood and all, I had to watch half that twice because I was like, wait. So the history, his real mother was eaten by her stepmother in all this crazy stuff. And I was like, I had to rewatch that. That's when it gets confusing.
The
both his moms eat each other. It's like, what?
Right. It's super simple. They follow it by the book of what you would think, and when you even read in grade school of how stories are set up, the plot, climax, everything. They follow it by the book. And what I appreciate the most is how well they do it. Because you look at a lot of these shows, just anime, movies, regardless of what it is, it's like nobody does that anymore. Because everybody's trying to put out something that we haven't seen yet or seen before. And the problem is that's hard to do well because this formula will work. I was on the edge of my seat throughout the entirety of me watching that show. There was a lot of stuff. I
love it.
It just, you don't get that anymore. Because then you have a lot of people trying to change the formula, and then we have political agendas being thrown in them, and then we have this being thrown in there. Oh, well, we didn't like this part, so we're going to cut it out, which Suicide Squad happens, and then that movie was trash. And
then you get the isekai. That was trash.
And so it's just, Attack on Titan fundamentally is amazing and sound to the point where the story itself, they just had to kick their feet up and let us watch it at that point. They knew it was going to be a hit. Because the premise of the story itself was already just nuts. It's insane. It's really good. It just, why people don't follow that anymore bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah. And
we'll go over that next time. I don't want to rant too much.
I give him props because he thought of the whole show before he made the manga, or not manga show.
Yeah.
He thought of the whole storyline before he made, because it was decently long
It was.
manga. So
Yep.
like, a lot of authors, they at least have like a couple, like 10 chapters worth of information, and then they draw it out and write it out. He was like, he sorted
Start to
everything out,
finish.
and then he was
Right.
like, and he did it. So
Here you go. Well, content
yeah.
drop every.
Yep. He thought that through.
They did. He really did a masterful job of that, the entirety of that anime and manga in general.
Yeah.
And Mappa did such a good job animating, because as much as I dog on that fight scene a little bit, that end fight scene, there was some real nice, real spicy meatballs in that fight scene. And
Yeah.
the only qualm I did have is their access to resources and how many resources they had going into the fight. Now I get the ending could not happen unless they did. That was the only flaw I kind of saw, was when they were getting the plane re-welded together so they could fly it. One,
Yeah.
the lack of gas and be able to catch up, that was a big red flag for me. I was like, nah, it don't take that long to fuel up a plane. Two, the amount of thunder spears they had to combat the hundreds of armor titans that were on the back there.
Yeah.
That Ymir just casually said, and it just, that kind of rubs me a little bit the wrong way, just because I was like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because you just got done with the huge fight. Aaron just started the rumbling, destroyed a lot of shit. How do you just have oh yeah, by the way, we have like 40 of these per person. That, I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of,
It's in the same realm as, it's the same realm of, when is your magazine gonna end? You've been shooting for the last 3 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
It's in the same category as that. Where'd you get all this ammo from? Is it in your cheeks? Like, I don't see it on any person. So where's all this ammo coming from as you run down this hallway?
Right. It's like, what's that one anime where she just yoinks a 9-foot blade out of her skirt, and then all the dudes next to her are just like, what?
Oh yeah.
Where's Mikasa been hiding these, huh?
Before we end this, one of my favorite parts of the last season was when they had to start killing each other, when they had to start killing humans, because they didn't really do that much. They didn't really do that really over with Kenny and his crew, but this is when they started killing. They had to kill their own, like, people that they've been surviving with this whole time. They had to start killing them. That was kind of sad, but
that was rough. That, I loved that. That was so human. That was so relatable too. I loved that part. They did a great job portraying like how you and I would feel like if we were side by side fighting a battlefield, then all of a sudden, now we got to fight each other and kill each other.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that. Like, that whole, the mind space that they depicted for both sides was great. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, and that's what Mappa does well with facial graphics. But
except for don't that mean the
the
Yangerist? Oh my god, I still have that in Discord to this day. I just casually will just be like,
that's some good stuff. All right, we gotta end it because I gotta wake up my kid now before he's up until 2:00 in the night. So, thank you for tuning in to the rundown. And we'll see you all next week.